Right, I know you've heard me say it enough times over the past couple of years, but this is it, right? This is it. This is our moment. We capture it or we let it slip, right? We're going to rebuild it. We're going to get it back out. It's finally got a purpose. What's its purpose? It's going to be a racing car. Yeah, but it was a racing car before. No, it wasn't a racing car before. It was a lot of fun before. It was a track car. Very fast. Had a lot of good times in it, yeah? But now we've got a new purpose in life. We are but racers. Every week from now on, we're gonna have a DC2 video. Roughly, yeah? Little jobs, big jobs, all the jobs. DC2, rebuild, starts today. It's the 1st of November, tomorrow, right? November, December, January, the 3 best months on the calendar year. 3-month rebuild, yeah? Loads of time. If we keep at it every week, the spare time, no longer getting wasted on MR2s, no longer getting wasted on all these German things, right? We've got the best thing here. We're going to take it racing. This thing is going to end up looking like that. So, if you're precious, I'm sorry, don't be too precious. It's going to get smashed up. It's the way it works. Now I'm going to show you pretty much most things that I'm doing, right? Because I've basically got to case up the car again in a lot of sense. A lot of stuff missing. It's not been a full car for a long time. You all know that. Missing stupid stuff like idle pulleys and gearbox brackets. Sam sorted me these out yesterday. Thank you very much, Sam. Let's get them on the car. I'm going to need some bolts, but he also gave me some bolts so I can put my doors on. I'm not going to do it straight away. But my doors have been sat there for how long? Too long, correct. Right, we need to get the car back together. I want to try and get this on today, or at least work out how long bolts I need. So I bet I need some long bolts. But guess what else I've got, eh? For a bit of fun. You like fun, don't you? That ain't right good, is it? It'd be right good though if someone had a bearing for it. What do you mean, a bearing like this? Is that what you mean? Oh yeah, we should put that in, shouldn't we? Brand new NTM. Wow, we should definitely do that, because that's going to be right good when we do that. What else have we got? Look at that. Only a little bit rusty. Adapter plate for the gearbox. That gearbox used to be in my MR2. Doesn't have this plate on anymore. Oh, here you go, Dan. Have that. Thanks, Sam. I can put that on my gearbox now, and we can shift gears. Guess what's in the car? Hybrid racing shifter. Already mounted. Oh, what's that? You've got an oil filter. Why have you got an oil filter? You put a brand... Do you remember that oil filter that sieged on, yeah? Still sieged on, so... You know, I don't like buying things twice. It's brand new, that oil filter. We're going to have to destroy it to get it off so I can get my oil cooler lines on. Yeah? Yeah! Correct? Excited? Right, intro, day 1, episode 1. I'll start a new playlist on the tube, shall I? A new playlist for the DC2 final rebuild of 2022. Right? We're going to finish it, we're going to do loads of mad racing. Right, let's get started then. Hopefully you're all hyped now. Like, subscribe, DC2 refund build thing, come on. In case you forgot, we made this list about this time last year. That has been on a while. I've got 2 MR2 power steering pumps. We're going to run an MR2 power steering on this. Got battery, need wiring, need that. I still need a lot of this. Got a throttle body coming, got a swap harness, we need fuel lines, coolant stuff. Look, this is the list, yeah? You've seen it before, I know you have. No more mucking about now though, no more mucking about. Right, I don't know what I'm doing here, but that's never stopped us, has it? Ooh. That bearing has some water ingress. How do we extract bearings, Captain? We should probably try and do it nice, shouldn't we? Right, she's got some corrosion on her, like. She's a wee bit corroded, eh? Well, something's coming out. Hey! Oh aye, she's lovely now, like. That's one lovely wee bearing there. Right, where does that go on the car then? Well, it goes in these two bolts, one of which was a little bit rough. Not too bad. It's an M8 thread. I've got a few M8 bolts laying around from a Toyota. Right, it's on. One job. Tick. Yeah. I know these are looking a bit rusty, just from being sat out. I've just given them a good go over with some sandpaper and stuff, you know. Trying to do the cleanings a bit, but we can get a belt on now. Oh baby. Fresh bearing. Oh, guess what bolts I used? What M8 bolts would I have laying around, do you think, that are just about the right length? So, gearbox bolts. Correct, for the bell housing. So, yeah. Job 2 now then. Gearbox bracket. And you may notice my brand new lovely hybrid racing cables are here on the car, look. Oh, I have to do something with that wiring, aren't I? But there's nowhere for them to sit. There should be a bracket here where these lock into. Said bracket is this one. So let's get it mounted, so you can get the cables in. Well, I got the bracket on. I'm having a bit of trouble with the cables. These are hybrid racing cables, super stiff bastards, race proven and all that. Nice little joints there. Problem is, I almost like they're a bit too long, or maybe I've mounted the shifter a little bit too far forward. Right, I got somewhere. A little bend out of the firewall, and it's pretty golden. I am missing some hardware though, so I need to get some clips for these. Oops. Exhaust manifold, I've got one of them coming. That's Gav's. Gav, that's waiting for your pal. I'll try and drop it off next time I'm on the way. But yeah, interior, you might notice I put the carpet in. I don't think that's going to stay, but it covers up a lot of nasty paint, so it's just chilling at the minute. Just chilling. I scratched the heck out of my cage as well, because I was using the car as storage. Yeah, it's not looking too bad in here. I'm glad I painted the cage, because that's not gone rusty. That would have been quite nasty, wouldn't it, if we come back to a rusty roll cage. Got a lovely conversion harness as well here, which I'll not be doing today. But I need to get the battery mounted. Maybe we'll look at where we're going to mount the battery. I've got some ideas. Just so you're all aware, the car is not going to be as fast as what it once was, most likely. The spec it was in before is about 265 brake per tonne, roughly. You know, it's pretty rapid, right? But the class limits where I'm going, they're a lot lower than that. The most it'll ever be probably is about 240 brake per tonne, maximum. Maybe even less than that. We'll see how we get on. And that's actually a good thing, because we're not going to have to spend loads of money and stretch an engine out. You know, I'm not going to have to get cams or, you know, more things to try and make this breathe any more than what it should. We've got a K24, good engine. Peak power is going to be similar to before, but we're going to be a bit heavier. And what I'm going to do, hopefully, is manage that weight in a sense where the car will be balanced AF, yeah? Because the rear is always light on these. I mean, you saw my videos before where I was always losing the rear into corners and, you know, locking the rear brakes and stuff like that. The rear is always light. The weight is all at the front. Even the MR2's got a better weight distribution. These are about 57, 56-ish to the rear, and then, you know, 43 to the front, whereas these are more like 60% of the weight at the front, if not more. So going back to the battery idea, I'm going to mount the battery at the back, and I'm not using a stupid lightweight one. It's the one that was originally in the MR2 from the golf cart. The 6 kilo battery. I swapped it for a deadweight one in the MR2. Lost 4 kilos by doing that, but I think 6 kilos here wouldn't be such a bad thing. Now, I did ideally want to mount it upright, but I guess having it flat's better for the weight anyway. Maybe even in the spare wheel well would be the right place to mount it. But yeah, that's the plan anyway. Spread some weight around. You might actually have some like steel plate or something, you know, trying to balance it so that the weight distribution of the car is as good as we can get it. You like the sound of that, don't you? I know you do. I do too. Hey, this feels pretty familiar, right? Back to the vlogs of 5 years ago, doing some bits on the Integra, filming on a GoPro. Now I am getting towards the end of my day one activities. Yeah, we've done some things, come on, we've made a start. But I'm going to finish by finally getting this oil cooler sandwich plate on. Now if you watched my videos when I did this last year, you know, I put an oil filter on it and all that when the engine was built. But the engine's not been run and the oil filter has somehow kind of cold welded itself on. And I snapped, I've got this, I don't know if you can see down there, you see the little kind of metal thing at the end of the oil filter? That's like a genuine Honda oil filter removal tool, and I snapped the nut off of it. That's how tight it is on there. So I'm gonna have to get tribal to get that off. I've got a new oil filter, and then we can put the sandwich plate on, put the new oil filter on. Tidy up the wiring a bit here, the piping, make sure it's not interfering with our belt. And I should see if I've got a belt, that'd be nice. I know Matt, who has a DC5, gave me a belt, but I don't know what I did with it. Got the belt on, so I found this from Matt, but I think it's just a wee bit loosey goosey. But look how good it looks with a belt on. Hey? So that's a 1345. The standard EP3 size is 1285, but the K24 crank pulley is bigger. So we need something in between, like a 1320 or a 1315 or something. I did have this discussion with Josh yesterday, but I've forgotten what he said. But I think to get rid of that, you see that? To get rid of that, I want a slightly smaller. So I think about a 1320 should be right. And that'll be 25 mil shorter. Maybe a 25. I don't know, I'm sure the answer's on Google, but hey, look how much better it looks just for having a belt and an idler pulley on it. Right, Mr. Oil Filter, it's time for you to meet Mr. Record, made in Sheffield in a time before China. Yeah, this is, I'm actually struggling to hold it up, got a bit of a wobble on. It's honestly, I bet it just falls off. I just breeze next to it. Ooh, can I get it in though? That's what she said. This thing's gonna do damage. Look at the size of the handle. Farm engineering at its finest. There she blows. Fucking hell, I'm pressing on it though. I am pressing on it. Whew. Christ, I've never known an oil filter be this tight before. I feel like it's taking the threads with it. I hope it's not. One brand new oil filter. Yeah, I don't know what brand that was. Unbranded oil filter. Maybe it's best that I don't use it. And again, we could just put it back on. Well, things aren't going so smoothly. This oil cooler kit was from a different car. It's from a DC5, right? And yeah, couldn't get things happy, you know, with the length of the lines and with the orientation of the oil filter adapter plate. So I've just disconnected from now and I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to have it. Now I had my lines routed like this before on the previous thing when I had my oil cooler that I smashed at the Nürburgring. I had the oil cooler roughly where it is now and I had the lines coming through here. But it seems like there's more going on, like there's not really an ideal place. I think I'm gonna have to point them at, like, say if the oil cooler's here, they're gonna be like pointing that way to the chassis leg and then kind of come down and go back up. But I mean, this is thick line, you know, the radius, the bend radius isn't so strong. You can't really go much more than that without it putting up a fight. So yeah, a bit tricky, but I'm gonna try and persevere because I want this done. I want to tick this one off. Well, I must have erased it from my mind how much of a pain in the arse it was to do this oil cooler when I first did it back in the day. Because it's a pain in the arse. Can't remember it being this much of a pain in the arse. So I originally had my oil cooler on the B series, and then when I put the K20 in, just installed it, you know, in situ. But yeah, this has been a strange one. So I've got it in a position where it's okay-ish. Obviously these lines need a bit of tidying up. My torch has just died, which is a shame. Well, a little bit of mucking about then, but we've made progress today. So I'm going to try and do one of these videos a week. Might just be little stuff like this. There's a lot of little stuff to do, right? But if I can do an update a week, and if I can think, oh, I've got that update to do, then, you know, we'll get the wheels in motion. We'll have a car in no time, right? So yeah, there's still obviously plenty to do. Everything that I've done today, pretty much. The idler pulley's done, but the belt doesn't fit. The shifter cables are on-ish, but I'm missing clips. And the oil cooler, not right happy about the lines. So we started 3 jobs, we haven't finished them. So there's still plenty of content to come from that. I've obviously got a lot of stuff that I need to buy as well. So don't worry, it's happening. It's everything's logged. Yeah, we're going to be doing it. Don't worry a thing. So if you're interested in seeing the DC2 come back to life, well, you've come to the right place. That's enough from today though. So if you've enjoyed watching, one like for the DC2. If you really like the DC2 and you want to, you know, thank the Patreons. And yeah, look out for some more DC2 videos in the future. 1 a week, that's the goal from now on. See how we get on.